sequencing emotion in a delicate formation. Numerology's wisdom is a language of vibration. Welcome to the Numerology Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a numerologist, psychic medium, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's working with spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, precision and heart always enters the equation. Now, here is your host of the Numerology Hour, Kelly Brickle.
There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Numerology Hour this week. I'm Kelly Brickle, and we are talking about all things numbers and going into numerology readings in a little bit. But this is the place where we can really learn about energy in a way with patterns and things that help us understand how the universe is communicating with us at all times. You know, the universe communicates with us through loved ones, signs, and symbols, and numbers definitely are a way to do that. And numbers have energy, just like everything has energy. So it's always a fascinating discussion. So I want to say hello to everyone coming on in. Hello, Helen. Hello, Keith. And please pop down where you're from if you'd like. Hello, Nigel. Everyone coming on in. Thank you. Hello, Julie. Hey, I'm still in Illinois, so I'm still with family, but I'll be going back soon. So I've been busy just with friends and family and so much love. So I'm really happy to be a part of that. It's nice to, when you haven't seen so many people in so long, to catch up. It's a blessing. And then hello, another Helen. Hello from Wiltshire, England. And then Keith from Vicksburg, Mississippi. Always love to see where everyone is around the world. So, all right, the first thing we do is we go into a little bit of number discussion and then we go into readings. So if anyone has any questions with numbers or learning about numerology, please pop it down. Those are the first questions that I take, and then away we go into some readings. Hello, Jennifer. Hey everybody. Thank you for coming on in. And then we got Julie from the UK. Hello. We are in world month of 8 right now. So we are in a world year of 8s, and we are in a world month of 8. And so that is universally the month and the year we all share. And so there's themes within that of truth and justice and consequence. So in the news, you'll be seeing a lot more like I would imagine updates with what's going on politically, what's going on internationally overseas, with decisions and also ramifications. So things get a little bit more solidified, but sometimes more scary, because 8 is all about this is what you've created from what you've done. This is what has to be known. This is what has to be seen. This is what has to be now physically manifested from the choices that has gone on. And usually it is over a time period that builds up and says, hey, this is the reality now. This is the reality now. So don't be surprised if you see and hear within the news nationally, locally, nationally, and internationally, more either decisions, resolutions, or cataclysmic kind of turns and updates of things. And I know a lot of people are going through that just with seeing like the war and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see how we're going to be seeing that on the news in a double 8. So drops of Jupiter. Cool. And then hello, Keith. I love how we have multiple Keiths and multiple Jennifers and multiple Julies and multiple Helens. I love that. So, but hello, Keith. Hope you're doing well too. and drops of Jupiter. So we're going to go into readings in just a moment. But like the numerology. So I do the numbers for people's charts. And so drops of Jupiter, I can go to you first when we're going to start. But I'm looking at your birth date, your month, your day, and your year. And that lets me know things about your personality and also things that are upcoming within your years. So you can get a lot of information just from somebody's birthday. And that's why the numerology hour is so fun and numerology is so fun. And that is just a slice of the pie. That's not where all the stuff comes from. That's just where a slice of what you can do with numerology comes from. Oh, yes, people do ask about this, and this is a positive question, so this is not a negative question. So I will take it. So this is an infinite number, but it's not bad. Every number is neither positive or negative. It's just a vibrational representation. And the number 6 represents service. It's a maternal vibration. It wants to protect. It wants to kind of really get its hold on a situation and say, you're my family, or I have a duty and I'm going to be like this, I'm going to act like this. And so when it's exaggerated, it becomes actually controlling vibration. It becomes actually manipulative vibration. So no number in itself is positive or negative, but you can have some positive or negative qualities come out within the person because we're all human. And so 6 is when somebody wants to control the situation because they think the negative side, right? When it's employed by human, they want to control the situation because they think they know better. It's like the mother knows better vibration, or I'm going to take the over this. I've worked so hard. I've gone 100%, and I know a better way because of all the things that I've done. And you are ungrateful. And so sometimes you can see crossovers of that within metaphor, literature, religion, of how some numbers represent people and choices and why numbers are sacred. Um, we're talking a little bit biblical, but within religion, like 7 and 9s, they are in different texts and they showcase themselves in different texts. And 7 and 9 are very spiritual numbers. 7 is letting go of the mind and surrendering the will, and understanding that there's a greater truth beyond just oneself and submitting to a higher power. And it's really like showcased even in architecture, like to acknowledge appreciation. There's 7 steps, or there's 7, let's say, flowers or mosaics in certain places. So 7 is a very sacred number, and then 9 too as well. And 9 is like this universal transformation number. And it's really kind of the pinnacle. 7 is I start to surrender and I do this. 9 is I've fully surrendered. And it's like really a high creativity and a spiritual vibration. It's kind of the personification of that you've transformed. So it's very, like, again, we can get all into it. I appreciate the question because it kind of opens up the door for how we can view numbers within the world. And thank you, Keith. I appreciate that. And always with the good vibes, Keith. Thank you so much. And Julie says, I believe the world is run by numbers. Well, it really is in a lot of ways, honestly. It really is in a lot of ways. And that's kind of like mind blowing because we all have names, and every letter breaks down into a number. Every letter breaks down into a number, especially in the alphabet. Okay, so it gets really technical sometimes when you get into other languages, but in the English language, every letter breaks down into a number, and we have a number system for that. And so when you choose names, whether your parents give you a name or whether you pick your own name, that breaks down to a vibration. It breaks down to vibration, and people feel it as you walk into the room and you actually start to take on part of that vibrational identity. And I see it all the time within people's charts and in the decisions that they make. they start to harbor that energy's number. And people see them that way and they act that way. And you go, how the heck is that even possible? And really, there's all these codes that we operate within the universe. And a lot of those codes break down into numbers. And the numbers even further break down into energy. So we live in an energetic universe. And one of the ways to connect with that is numbers and other symbology to help understand what energy is coming our way. So yes, and then of course money and numbers, right, and math, right? But they're really just, when it comes down to math, it's just one gateway with understanding energy. So I would say look towards the energy first and the numbers second. But in order to learn about the energy, you have to sometimes learn about one way, and then that way could be numerology numbers. Okay. So let's get into some readings. Unless someone has another question, let's go into some readings. Oh, yes. Yes, that's true. So you were talking about the sixes before. Yes, Jennifer, and you're right. It does add up to 9. So it's basically like a controlling spiritual matter. You're right, because we always look at the sum total. So when we talked about um, how people can become either the light side or the dark side of the number because a number is just neutral. Um, if you have triple sixes, and that was the question, it is a 9 vibration ultimately with the 6 in mind. And so, yeah, 9 is basically saying, I have chosen this from the inspiration of I can do it better. And then they transformed their role, or the person transforms their role and they go down a certain road because they are very convicted. Yep. It's very interesting. So it's like it's a whole conversation. It's a whole philosophical conversation, and we're going down the religion rabbit hole. All right. Oh man, I have a tickle in my nose. A tickle in my nose. So forgive me. Forgive me if I have to adjust. All right. So Jim, very interesting. It is very interesting. It is very interesting. Absolutely, Jennifer. Alphabet. Then you give me some numbers, yes, for better, for worse. And if well, you got to put some humor into it. See, tell me about life path 4. Okay, so I'll talk a little about life path 4, and then we'll get into some number readings. Jim says sound and colors have vibrations. Yes. Yes, Jim. Yes, sound, colors, and numbers all have vibrations. I'm very connected to reading colors. I'm very connected to reading colors. I don't always see numbers when I read, but I feel numbers. I feel numbers and I know a lot about numbers, and that's how I read the vibration. But with colors, I very much see the colors and experience the colors. So we don't just have one way that we connect to energy, we have multiple ways that we connect to energy. Psychically, I connect, mediumistically, I connect, but I try to focus one at a time, and definitely numbers have energy. Okay. Let's see. My only math love so far is that numerology. I can understand that. I can understand that. Okay, and then you're saying interesting. So I'm gonna answer the question up top with life path number 4, and then we'll go into all the lovely numbers that you're giving me for your questions or just for the reading. Hello, Linda. Hello. And hello, Linda, and hello, Melinda. Everyone's coming in name pairs, it seems like that. Hello, Kristen. Oh, you're talking about color as a vibration. That's a very interesting question. We got to keep it with numbers a little bit because we have all the people here. But I love that question. And yes, color makes people feel things, and color also illustrates colors that we need. So we want energy and we need energy. And with colors, we want or need it. And with numbers, we want or need it because it all gives us certain vibrations. Yes. Hello, Julie. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to go to life path 4. Mm-hmm. And I love that. Um, yes, okay, that's a 4 vibration too as well. The 13 and so I can kind of go off that for a second, but I'm going to go to Kim's question. So, on the numerology hour, we don't go all into the fundamentals unless, someone has a question and we can talk about the fundamentals a little bit. Okay. So the more you learn to be a numerologist, or if you're curious with numerology, you're going to learn about some rules and calculations. And life path 4, as Kim is asking about, is the learning about the vibration number 4, but how it applies to the life path. So the life path is a number like in astrology, like the sun sign. It's the path we walk. You can't stray from your path. You can't stray from your path. You can, go through hardships. You can be confused within life, but you will always kind of have a certain personality or find your way to certain jobs, careers, and situations that help you manifest that vibration. And we all have life path numbers. So Kim's asking about 4. And 4 is all about learning how to be consistent, learning how to be responsible, learning how to use your energy so that you're constant. Okay. And you think about like, well, isn't everybody learning how to do that? And no, not everyone's learning how to do that. Some people are very, very well at that and they don't think it's that hard. For people who are life path 4, they will have more difficulty with it because they're just like, I'm always working to be more organized. I'm always working to just get my ducks in a row. Sometimes I feel bored if things are too consistent. So I have to learn how to be more disciplined. Okay. So this is a person that has to cultivate this type of energy because they don't quite have mastery in it. The life path is all about mastering that vibration and becoming acquainted with it. People who are life path 4 also will have this thirst for knowledge in a different way than other people will, because 4 is the student and teacher number. So they will have this passion to either be a lifelong student, or with all the knowledge that they will have these bursts of wanting to be the teacher or actually fully becoming a teacher of some sort. So they always have like, you know, these facts and figures they can go. Did you know about this? Oh, you just brought up, you just brought up, brought up animals, or you just brought up like maybe something in the news. By the way, I know this, that, and more so. And people would go, how do you know that? How do you know that? So you're always going to kind of surprise people with the way that you can just access all this extra stuff in your mind because you are such just a student and absorb and absorb and absorb. So Kim, you said 13 is for divine feminine. So 13 is a 4. 13 means a lot of different things. For me, 13 is not the divine feminine. Um, for me, I can't, but that's just my way, the way that I read numerology. I never say like, hey, that's wrong, that's right. Just for me, my own personal preference. And so you feel like you have certain number codes. And so someone else asked about 13. 13 is also a number of transformation. It is a number of letting go. It's a unique vibration. It's people who like to absorb knowledge and grow and can weather storms, but they do it in very unconventional ways. So they're built to weather storms, and they usually have gone through a lot, and they're pretty sturdy people because of that. So a lot of people who are born on 13 numbers, they're pretty flexible personalities because they've been through a lot. And so they're like a coconut tree. Okay. So they're sturdy like a coconut tree, but the coconut tree bends during the storm. So not a lot of things phase at 13. Or people who have a lot of 13s in their charts. They are basically at a young age nurtured just like the 9s are to go, you're gonna handle this, but you're gonna learn to deal with it. You're gonna handle it, and it's not gonna be easy, but everything else beyond that is kind of gonna be a piece of cake. And so you're not going to be phased by life as much as some other people in some other situations. So when I see 13 in people, I know that is a personality trait or a life circumstance. And then I see where that 13 is in their chart. Okay. And so the 9, again, has some of that energy, but employs it a little bit more um, unconventionally. So the 4 is like, I'm going to be very sturdy and I'm not going to let things affect me. And the 9 is like, I'm sometimes not going to think about these things. I'm just going to go live life, have a good time. I'm not going to overthink it. Things happen. People are human. And I guess I'm going to keep just what's in front of me. So the 13 gets the ramifications. The 13 gets the severity of things. The 9 sometimes blocks it out. And the 9 has to do a lot of forgiveness work. And the 9 has to really come back within to themselves and connect their psyche into the equation. Okay. So very different coping skills with different numbers, very different activations with numbers. But 4, since we talked about life path 4, I'm going to talk about the number 13. It's all about how can I become more strong and consistent with my physical self and my mental mind, where I am being a very efficient human being. I am learning to be hardworking. I am learning to get, what is expected of me within this life, whether I expect it or I am looking towards my teachers that defined, or my parents who defined a good life. 4 is like rules. Other numbers, not so much, but 4s like rules because they go, great, I have a plan. Let's go and let's develop the plan and be the best that I can be through these stages. Okay. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. It's just a little piece of the pie, remember? But let's go into some readings. Okay. So we answered some questions with 6s and 4s and the life path and the number 13. So again, I love all your questions, and let's go into the reading portion. So Kim, you're welcome, Kim. And then Kristen, thank you so much. Hello, Rhonda. Hey. Thank you for the hearts too, as well. And thank you, Anne, as well. Absolutely. I loved your number 13 question. Oh, and maybe I'll do this at the end, Julie, because I do have to go into some readings. But Julie so at the very end, Julie, I will factor back. Like you said, if you have time, can you speak to the personal year number and the universal year? I'm shifting into year 9, and we're heading into a year 9. So, okay, so I talked a little bit about this when we first started. So I'll factor back. But right now, universally, we're in an 8-year and an 8-month. And the next year, we'll be going into a 9-year. Okay, so I can talk a little bit about that for a second. So I appreciate your interest, Julie. Absolutely. Okay, so let's go into readings. Please pop down your numbers. And if you can, please write out your month. That helps me to make sure I'm accurate, because sometimes the month and the day in different countries are switched. So I have to make sure I'm accurate. So please write out. So if you are May 5th, please write MAY and then 5 and then your year, things like that. And if you have a question also with your numbers, that's super fun for me too. Ask your question. If you want just a general, let me know as well. Okay. Because we can get so much either way. All right, so let me screw up. There's a lot of numbers. Let me kind of go to the beginning with some of the people who, there was one that I said I was going to do because, okay, so drops of Jupiter. Let me know if you're still here. Drops of Jupiter, let me know if you're still here. If not, I'm going to go to, let's see, who was next? So drops of Jupiter and then Helen Mansell. And then I'm just going to keep saying names until I know who's here. So let me know if you're here, because I'm going to drop down and I'm just going to go to who's here. But I always give kind of priority for the people in the beginning. Drops of Jupiter or Helen Mansell. Let me know if you are in the house. All right. So Helen, if you're in the house, oh, you're here. I just saw you, Helen. You're here. And then drops of Jupiter, you can factor back if you are here, and I will go to you next. But then I'm taking everyone who is here because I'm seeing Rhonda and Kim and Jade and another Helen and Michelle and Kristen. So and more and more. So I see all that, and I'm gonna go to you, everyone who is live. But I'm gonna start with Helen. Okay. So you are an attitudes 4, and you are personal day 7, and your life path is going to be an 8. Let me just double check the math. So we got 6, 7. Right. Yep. That's right. That's right. And that's right. Beautiful. Okay. So, Helen, if you have a question, let me know. If not, I will just do a general reading. Absolutely. So we talked so much about 4 today, and you have an attitude 4. So, an attitude number is someone's personality where they don't have to develop their personality. They actually have a lot of these traits naturally. It's like the rising sign in astrology. So you with 4, you have this natural need to be very organized and to really kind of have everything have its place. And a great sign of if you're stressed is if that is not going on within the home and you feel kind of like um, everything is just all over the place. It's really, really easy with a 4 if you kind of just reintegrate everything. Your mind will go, it's just that easy. So I will always give that recommendation to the 4s. 4s also, especially with you having a light, you said, yes, I'm very much like that. Okay, cool. Let me ask for a general. Thank you. You really size things up. Okay, so it takes a lot to impress you. You have numbers that make you very sharp with analyzing people and situations, and you don't like to jump into things. Again, you've like systematically, you go, let's see what's really going on here. And you don't like people to try to influence you as well. So with the life path 8, again, you're very deliberate, you're very detailed, but you go, I've been sizing up situations, so unless you have a better thing to say and think than what I observe, I'm gonna kind of just do my own thing. I'm gonna kind of just go my own way. And you said yes again, spot on. Okay, so there's I'm gonna give you kind of like kudos and a compliment, but you have a very sharp eye, and that's a good thing. And your stubbornness is a good thing because you really take the time to see things and you don't get persuaded. So, because of that, you should be actually more in leadership roles, and your life path would want you to do that. So, um, I'm not tuning into whether you're working or not right now. I'll let you know if I am. But with Life Path 8, it's all about I want responsibility. I want to call the shots. I want my space also too as well. So I'm going to work or not work in a way where I can have that flexibility because people are incompetent. Okay, and you're like, I understand. Okay. So everything that you do, make sure that you give yourself that authority and you give yourself that flexibility, and you won't be happy. This is very common. As a life path 8 and the other numbers that you have, you won't be happy if you have to report to somebody unless you love and adore them and think they're incredibly brilliant. Okay. And you're like, I work for myself. Exactly. Okay. It is the entrepreneurial number 8. Absolutely. Good, good, good. So you are in I like that. I don't have to validate much more of that. I love that. And cycle 3. Okay. You are in a yearly cycle of 3, and you said you're a hairdresser. That's cool. All right, so this is really good for business. All right, I love that you said that. So a cycle 3 is all about making things come to you, opportunities, and it's usually through like socializing, getting your name out there, people talking. So the fact that you're in hairdressing, it's been a really good year for you if you can understand that. It's been sometimes difficult for you to figure out how to handle everything coming your way because you're like, this is not the normal way that things go. But like more clientele have been coming, more opportunities, and it's almost like you can't keep up at times. Or you're just so not used to, again, the beat of it. You're like, I need a second, I need a second. And so, can you understand this? Can you understand how, like, you actually changing last year set this space for you being more social, you being more talkative, and all of a sudden people started finding their way to you because you were more open? You said it's been hard, but it's getting better. So can you understand how it's unconventional, but all of a sudden through word of mouth and opportunity, clientele actually started changing and like things started getting busier. Can you understand that? Let me know. Let me know really quick. I just want to make sure I'm in the energy. And you said I'm always open. Like you mean with your business? With your business, you're always open. So I'm going to say it like this. Let me know if you can understand, Helen. So this month again, it's going to be more emotional, but again, I still think there's this energy stream of connections and growing and getting yourself out there and opportunities, and that seems like it's changing the business. It's changing the business for the better. If you can understand last month, so that would have been, and you're saying yes, getting busier and open. Correct. Thank you. And you being open in mind, since we kind of talked about personality, that's been kind of difficult, but it's showing you that you need to go this direction. Okay. Thank you for understanding. And so, um, what am I trying to say? So last month, there was almost like a resurgence kind of your motivation. So that would have been like August. Can you understand that August was very like a motivated and business forward month that really demonstrated that a lot of things are going towards the direction that you're hoping. So I'm gonna say last month was good to instill those things. And this month, even though we're so fresh, it's almost like I'm back to being a little overwhelmed, but I have to relax and trust the process. Okay. So I'm kind of giving you the energy forecast, what's really happening. And so it's like this year, and especially this month, just honestly keep going forward and see the gains and see the wins and go, okay, this is better, this is better. Next year will be far easier. It's a 4. It's it matches, it matches your attitude, and it's very harmonious for your other numbers. Okay, so next year I really think that things lock into place. I really know that things lock into place, and I feel that you're going to tweak something in the hairdressing uh, business that you do where you go, this is my niche. You have a bunch of little niches or niches, as they say, where you can go, we can do this for you, we can do that for you. But you start to go, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to advertise for this. And now I know what I want to do with my business. Because when you have a business, you have a power to connect people and you have a power to make a difference and a change with your skills. And so I do feel next year there's a little bit of a humanitarian element that comes in from you for you. It doesn't have to be I align myself with all these charities. It doesn't, but it makes you think like I'm here for a purpose and I'm going to help more people with my business. And what is an easy way to do that? It feels so natural to me. That's going to come out. You're going to spread your wings. It's going to be a much easier and happier and more enjoyable year next year because of those reasons. And you said, I put my intentions to the universe. I asked and they helped. It's better. It will be even better next year. You have way better numbers next year. so the last thing I'll say, this year you have good numbers for growing, okay, but not good numbers with how you'd prefer to grow, okay? Next year you have all the wonderful numbers with how you'd prefer to grow, and it will continue to blossom and bloom. This year it's bursts, okay? Next year it's going to be the continuous, just like I like it. This step and this step and this step, and this is green light, green light, green light, okay? And this is all with business. Write down what I said, please, and match it to how things are going for the rest of this year and next year. I really do feel like there will be a lot of consistency in what I said and how the year is going for you this year and next year. And just that's how I kind of tell people to say, hey, if you can remember it, I think numerology will really validate a lot within what we're talking about. You said, I love people, find people interesting, and I help them spiritually with healing while I talk and do hair. I believe that there's a lot of mediums and psychic mediums that have a hairstylist connections or came from a hairstylist background. It's one of those careers where they just connect with people and they're empathic. But I do think next year there's going to be again some additional I'm this type of salon, and you can make yourself a spiritual salon, you can make yourself a healing salon, you can make yourself a positive community salon. But your salon's identity transforms as you transform with feeling this is who we are. Okay. I send you a lot of love, and I'm going to go on to the next person. So, Helen, hopefully all that resonated, and write it down and tell me how it goes for next year. All right. Let's see here. So, I'm going to go to see Keith. Keith, are you in the house? We have two Keiths. So, which Keith is in the house? Yep. I love when I said I'm going to go to Keith. You just type down, can I be next? Yes, you can be next. You have to give me your numbers, though. All right. Yes, Keith. Oh, both Keiths answered. There's two Keiths in the house. So Keith Jones and Keith Fletcher, I'm happy to go to you. Keith Jones, you responded first. So please, can you pop down your numbers? And then Keith Fletcher too as well, and I will go to you. Okay, just waiting for a moment because both are in the house. Let me see if you had a question up top. Keith Fletcher did. And Keith Jones. So Keith Jones, thank you. Thank you for your numbers. Okay. So let me just put this down. So you're an attitude 6. You are a personal day 5. You are a life path. Oh, that's right. Your life path 2. Let me just double check the math. We got 6, 5, and then we have, I don't know, this is why I double check the math. You're 3. Okay, cool. Yep, that's right. All right, so your life path 3, and then you are in a cycle of 5. Okay, so you have a busy, bubbling year, Keith KJ Jones. And then we'll go to the other Keith after. So you had a question. I'm making sure I can see your question. You said, will next month be good to meet? Okay. So let me look at that. And next month, you mean October. Okay. So, yeah, actually. Yeah, no, actually, next month is going to be a really good. So, anytime your month or your year matches your attitude number or your life path number, that's very auspicious because you are in harmonic alignment. the lessons, the conditions that you need for things to go well are in alignment. Because remember, all numbers are vibration. So if you're saying my body really does well with the energy of blue, like we're gonna make an example. All right. So if you really love the color blue, and in numerology, it's not just about what you love, it's about what you are. Okay. So if you were really connected to the color blue and you lived on a blue planet and you're like, I do so good with the conditions of blue. I feel strong. I feel vital. But the energy of red, it really bums me out. It doesn't give me what I need. It doesn't make me feel strong. Well, what are you going to want? More blue. So when we have certain numbers that are similar within our chart coming up, we feel like that. We feel, God, I have what I need to survive. I have what I need to be lucky. I have what I need to just feel like I'm in my groove and I'm hitting my pocket. So it only lasts for a month. You asked about your month, but yeah, you are in a month of 6 next. So that's October when October hits. So yeah, I know you said blue is my favorite color. Okay, so just liken it to liken it to that metaphor. Okay, I love that. So you are let's break it down a little bit. So you're an attitude 6, Keith. And so this means that you have a very hardworking disposition to you. You go above and beyond for the people that are around you. You go above and beyond with your responsibilities. Why? Because it is the right thing to do. And all you want is a thank you. You're like, this is what's right. This is what feels like I should be doing. So I'm going to work hard and I'm going to take care of those. And so you're very generous with your energy. You're very generous with your time, with what you feel like you're connected to within your life. Okay. So there's 6, and 6 is a very family vibration. So you treat people that you have respect for like almost a family. Let me include you. Let me watch out for you. Again, let me do the right thing by you. Okay, so your personal day 5, and the people you attract don't always follow those rules. So there's been a lot of inconsistencies with people within your life, if you can understand that. So people come to you sometimes through fun and not through loyalty. People come to you through um, appreciating you, but not for sometimes the deeper qualities that you have. So you've really had to learn um, who to put your energy into. Okay. Because you have those 5s and 3s. And those are very kind of like, let's have fun. Let's go with the flow vibrations. But the 6 is so serious. Okay. So you're in a cycle of 5, and this is your yearly cycle. I'm going to talk about your yearly cycle first, and then we'll go into your monthly cycle. So Keith, your yearly cycle is a 5, and so this is going to highlight career change or career modification or even moving, and to feel like almost like kind of enough's enough. I need something different. Okay, so there will be these restless energies within inside of you this year that feel like it's not cutting it anymore. Like I've made minor tweaks, I've made minor changes, but this is not cutting it anymore. Okay, if you can understand all this, Keith, let me know. And then going into the question that you asked with your month, this is a month that really reconnects you to who you are and how you want to live within the truth of your life and what feels right and what feels like meaningful, and how you're really putting your energies towards something that has a value to you and also is going to generate money and success, to lead you to like an easier energetic flow of, yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. And it comes natural. So 6 would validate the projects you're working on or make them manifest even quicker. And so, do you have any questions about that, Keith? Just making sure. I know there's a lot that I'm saying, but if you don't have any questions, I'll just continue to wrap it up. And high drops of Jupiter, I will touch base with you. I rounded back earlier. I was looking for you. And so I'll around back after I finish with some of the readings. And you said, I'm good with that. Okay. Hopefully it resonates as well as you being good with that. But anytime that your month, so this is October, matches your attitude 6, it will almost be like, again, the opportunities that you create will be more successful and be more easy. So if you're going to plan anything, plan it to happen within October, and there will be less stress and more success. So I'm just going to give it to you with that thumbs up for October. I hope it goes well. It seems like it would. All right. You said someone's asking your thoughts about numerology and astrology in India. There's crossovers, absolutely. Different systems, but crossovers, absolutely. They work with different cycles, different yearly cycles. But astrology and numerology, so many archetypal crossovers and similarities. He says, cool, I got you. Thank you. Thank you for understanding. And then we're going to go to the other Keith. So, Keith, do you have a question? This is Keith Fletcher. So I'm going to start with your numbers and Keith Fletcher. If you have the question with it, great. So Keith, attitude 9, personal day 3, and then life path 3 as well. Just double checking. Yes, yes. And then you are in a cycle of 8 and a month of this month 8 as well. Wow, so many 8s. Okay. So, yes, this is actually important to talk about. So, Keith, all right, you don't have a question. That's okay. That's okay. That's what the general readings are for. It's fun like that. So, Keith, just heads up. This is a very difficult month. Okay. So, you're in a year of 8, you're in a month of 8. And so, when that happens, there's a lot of limitation or energy building up to like release itself. Okay. So it can feel like a very draggy month unless you are willing to kind of go like, I know it's coming. I know I had to like traverse, these mountains. I'm learning about myself. Like, unless you are completely open and completely connected to the fact that it's been difficult, but you're like, I'm making progress. I'm making progress. And the next thing is opening and the next truth is opening. It will feel very restricting. Okay. And so I want to give you a lot of encouragement and I want to give you a lot of remembrance to be very gentle with yourself at this time and to know that there are going to be obstacles present and frustrations present to be your mirror to say that's where we're going next with the learning and the healing and the change. Okay, so it's not the messages from the universe of, yep, look, you can't have this right now, told you so, or it's not going to be like this, you thought otherwise. No, it's just the direct mirror representation of we got to work on this. And a lot of people, the reason I'm like, hey, just heads up, Keith, whether you've already felt it or whether it's coming up, a year 8, month 8 is very difficult for a lot of people usually because there's some obstacle that blaringly comes up. You said it's been hard on the spirit side. Yeah. So for some people it can be physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, but there's some tremendous obstacle that says, hey, you're going to have to look at this dead square in the eye, even though you've been running from this. Or you wanted to have a good time. You're aware of it, but you wanted to have a good time because you're just like, I'll get around to that. The universe goes, no, we're going to look at it dead square in the eye. So whether it's already starting this month or it will continue to, open up more, any pitfalls that you have or emotional inconsistencies or spiritual darkness, night of the soul, know that it's just it's the cleansing. It's the cleansing and the transformation energies. Hold on, hold strong, and reach out to fellow intuitives. And you can go, what the heck is going on spiritually? And we will talk to you about it, So please, doors always open. because that double eight is a very, very tricky month and year. You're smack dab in that placement right now. So I want to give that to you. On the bright side, anything that you are doing, if you can, to get stronger within your body, like stretching, running, going on a bike, um, changing your diet, changing your water drinking routine, whatever you can do is going to really exponentially grow, because the eight is all about, we've talked about this before, I'm sure, on the show, so other people know this, but the eight is all about the body, the physical body. So anything that you're doing to healing and making your body strong, it will help make your mind strong, your emotions strong, and help give you an anchor with some of those spiritual things that you're navigating. So really put to work those physical helpers. And then you said, so happy that we are in a 9th month now. And yes, yes. So you would have been feeling that very strongly starting like to surface last month. Absolutely. And then this month, it's going to help. Well, I see what you're saying. So we're in a world. So you're matching the world right now, Keith. Actually, we're in an eight, just like you're in an eight. So we're in a world eight and a month eight right now, and your chart personally is in a year eight and a month eight. So you're gonna have this huge culmination and surge of energy. So next month you are going to be experiencing the 9. This month, it's all about the 8s, universally and personally for you. So this also explains why you're like this like big channel and this antenna from the universe, and you've always been such a feeler, and sometimes you shut down because you feel so much what other people feel in the world feels around you. So this is about kind of understanding your magic and your power on a different level, and you're going to have to let go and heal a lot. So it's your invitation to heal a lot, and then please keep your body strong while you're doing that. And I'm highlighting that for you. Okay. So, and you said yes. Okay. So I'm just highlighting that because that's what's coming up in your chart. Okay. So sending you lots of love, Keith. And then absolutely, Keith. You're saying, someone's saying, what is spiritual actually? Spiritual is energy that presupposes the physical, emotional, and mental. Like spiritual is closer to the origin of energetics, and spiritual is a plan or intention that shaped physical reality. So it's something that transcends what we've learned here, deeper rules, deeper values, the mechanics of the universe and the laws that bind them together. So you can get very philosophical with that, or very, it is what it is. This is the connectivity for the deeper truth, on a human level, or what transcends on a universal level. So that's how I would break it down. And yes, spiritual energy is very different than emotional and mental energy. Absolutely. Crossovers, because to me, the physical, emotional, and mental all reside in the spiritual, because spiritual energy created those energies in the first place. But it's very different. Just like physical energy is very different from emotional, so forth and so forth. So hopefully that gives a little perspective. So many wonderful questions and so many wonderful comments. I'm sorry that I'm not popping them all up on the screen, but thank you. So Christopher, James, hello, Ashley, hello. More questions like from Sakchin, I think, Ethereal Supreme, and let's see, Jennifer. Thank you. Absolutely. That's from Shith, I think, Rakshith. I'm always working with people's names, so thank you for your patience. So I said I would go back to Drops of Jupiter if he was still or she was still in the house. So are you, Drops of Jupiter? Drops of Jupiter, are you still here? Let me know. I don't know if they are. Since you did circle around twice, but I was doing different readings when you did circle around, I'm just gonna say something and then you can watch it on the playback. So you are an attitude 2 drops of Jupiter and you are a life path 5. So this lets me know that you have a very polarizing personality sometimes, where sometimes you're really sensitive and you're really emotional and things overwhelm you, and other times you're like, nope, let's go do it full speed. And it's almost like you have to kind of understand these two parts of yourself, because the 2, your attitude 2, makes you very, very sensitive and very, very need to take care of yourself, and you can burn yourself out quite easy. And the 5 gives you the opposite energy to burn and lets you kind of go on adventures and not have caution and just kind of come alive through the spontaneity of it all. So you recognize these two parts of yourself, but these two parts of yourself are actually opposing forces. So at certain times, you have to honor, I have to really take care of myself. I can't overdo it. I can't just live by the seat of my pants. And then other times, you have to go, I need the thirst for life. I need the adventure. I need to get my enthusiasm, my spirit to come alive. So as long as both parts are acknowledged and utilized within your life, you will be very happy and very content. It's just a matter of understanding when you need it and at what times, and to make sure you don't go too far on each spectrum. Okay. So you need sometimes that gray area, but sometimes it's time for the white energy, like the 2 energy. Sometimes it's time for the black energy, the 5 energy. And again, I'm just making metaphors. And you can't go super black, you can't go super white, because you have both qualities within you. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if they're still in the house, but I'm going to give that to you. And hopefully that creates some aha moments. And then, as you said, Kim Davis, my life patch glitched. You think? No. Are you the one with the life path 4? Which is your life path, Kim? Kim? You're welcome, Keith. So I'm not sure. Guess not now. Kim, what is your life path? Because you said you have a life path 4, but you didn't give me your numbers. What are your numbers? Because you talked about it earlier. Okay, so let's see. So your attitude 6, your personal day 3, and then your life path is no, your life path 4. Your life path 4. Let's see. Let me just double check. 7. Yeah. Your life path 4, Kim. And then drops of Jupiter, you said, yes, you can understand this. So drops of Jupiter, honor both parts of yourself. And when you're doing that, again, don't go too far on each spectrum. So one part of yourself is denied or muted when it needs help. Okay. So that's what I'm saying to drops of Jupiter. And Kim, yeah, you're life path 4. So remember I said life path 4 is the lessons that we are becoming. So you're not going to be completely 4 vibration, because it's your path to walk the 4 vibration and learn how to be it. If you were an attitude 4 and you weren't very 4 vibrational, I'd be like, why is that? Because your attitude is a huge part of who you are. Okay. But the life path, not always necessarily. So that explains that. You're like, what's going on? You probably there's many other numbers within our chart that showcase who we are and why we are. And so if people have 4s with 5s, just like drops of Jupiter, if you have 2s with 5s, you will have polarizing personalities, and you will be like, why do I have such trouble being this way at times? Because you have 2 opposing forces within the workings of your energy. That's why. In numerology, there's opposite numbers, like threes are opposite to eights, twos are opposites to fives, fours are opposites to fives too. Okay. So there's similar energy and then there's differing energy. And I could go, all across the board. Like with every number, there's its opposite in certain ways. Okay, so that's probably what's going on within your chart. And the four is basically about I'm learning how to be more consistent. I'm learning structure. I'm learning not to overdo things. And as I do it, I feel more like myself in the process. I'm learning to develop a passion or a skill where I become so passionate within it, I spill over and sometimes I teach other people or guide other people in the process. Okay. So these are the things, again, you don't have to be when you're a life path, you are not going to be the cookie cutter definition. No, sirree. You are learning the ways of that number. And some people have certain numbers where they come into the world and they're more like their life path, even though they're still learning about it. And some people have other numbers where they're very different from their life path. Okay. And that all comes to like learning what someone's chart is. When I'm doing the number readings, again, slices of who you are and your energetics, even though I can pinpoint some really nice things. But for you not feeling comfortable with four energy, as soon as we look at your chart, we would instantaneously find out why. Okay. So I encourage you to break down your name numbers. If you can do that online, it takes a little bit of finesse. But if you can learn more about your chart through another numerologist, and you'd have your question answered, definitely, because I would have to look at your name numbers. And that's a whole thing in itself. I just clicked something. Love it when I click a window and everything just disappears. Okay, so you're saying, yeah, mentality, LOL. Kim always thought and knew and then redid math and now what? Gosh darn. Um, that's fine. That doesn't deviate from what your life path is. The four is just teaching you how to be more consistent. It has nothing to do with like you have to be this brilliant hard worker, being so smart. Like when I say student and teacher, it's not a student and teacher traditional role. It's the student and teacher of life. I know people who are brilliant, like just absolutely, completely fantastical people with the way the mind works, and they never did well in school, and they never saw themselves as the perfect student, and they were really uncomfortable in school. This is basically just saying like you become so devoted to certain skills within life that you become a student of life. This is in no means ever in a traditional way, unless I look at your chart and say, oh, traditionally I can see like you really were good at math. You really were good at science. And that actually does showcase in people's charts. Absolutely. So I want you just to take your mind outside of the box and understand that you are a lover of knowledge and you are learning how to have control over your body and control over really getting into alignment with the way that the world is set up around you. And you're learning what that means to you and finding your place in it. And that really goes with life for energy. It means you don't fit the bill always. And that's why you're learning how to in your own way, but in a way where you're not going to conform. You're just going to find your place and find a plan. Okay. A lot of life path fours I see are unconventional. And some are conventional, sure. Don't get me wrong, but it's the company numbers that really dictate the life path. It's the company numbers. All right. So there was one more question. I'm going to take that. And let's see, Kim, you're responding though. You said that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. And you said 100%. The importance now know the importance of consistency routine in life, but having a blocker makes it hard, more spiritual in life. Yes, observed and need to do what the heart says. Yeah, as long as you find your skill, like, and your way to do things, and you just improve and you become stronger and just built up and consistent, you are living your life, and it feels so good. It's not just like, yeah, that's what everyone does. It's like, no, this is what I needed to learn. This is my missing puzzle piece. I feel amazing and more powerful the more that I do this. Um, yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for fours that didn't have that initially. My mind floats out of it. What's the box? Exactly. Exactly. Let's see. Thanks, but I have little time, and tired when I do. But yes, it's how can I put it? The last thing I'll say is when we are changing, in order to get strong, first we feel weak. In order to get richer, first we will make decisions that make us a little poorer. We have to put our energy reserves into what we're becoming, and at first it will feel like we are not those things at all. Okay. And then we develop that muscle and that skill, and suddenly we're like, oh, this is way better. I actually feel better. But initially, it felt like it depleted me. Okay. So keep on it. Keep on it. All right. So there was one question up top that I wanted to address before I leave. Don't know where it was. Let me see if I can find it. I said I was going to take it. Where is it? Oh, Julie. I don't know, Julie, if you're still in the house, but I'm just going to address this really quick. You said you wanted to talk about the personal year number and the universal year number. Okay. So everyone has personal year numbers. Um, and universal year numbers. We share the universal number. We all have our individual personal year number, and our personal year number is our attitude number plus the world year. Okay. And everyone's going to have a different number. Some people are going to have similar ones, sure. But we're all going to have a different personal year number. And it always defines the way that our year is going to go archetypically, what lessons that we will throughout the month to month go, I'm dealing with this situation. I have to navigate that situation. I feel like this. So that vibration will coat you, and you will find yourself um, with people and your personal self having to develop that vibration. So if you are personal year 2 right now, and again, it changes every year, 2 is all about love and emotions and a cooperation and mediation. So for anyone who has that in their year, they're going to deal much more with personal resolution with those around them, and understanding what really makes somebody happy, understanding their emotions, and saying, what do I really need to be happy? And I can't look away from this. I'm going to be way more emotional all year, or I'm going to be way more with rectifying my personal life and who I have around me and how they make me feel. So it's all about stimulating that love and how you want to ignite it back in your life, and to really get personal with people again, on a deeper level. So with that said, we're all learning things, and we are all experiencing our own personal transformation. Thank you for everyone for being here, and my apologies for everyone that was in the room and didn't get a reading. I will be back on Wednesday, and I will be back in California. So you'll see me back with my normal office, and I will be doing numerology readings 11 a.m. as usual, Pacific Standard Time. See you everyone next week. Thank you, Maxine, for coming on in. Kim, Christopher, Julie, Rakshith. I hope I'm saying that right. And Jennifer, everyone who's still around, Trudy. And thank you, everyone. Please go with love, luck, light. You will see me on Friday too as well. I have medium Jeff Jowett in the house. We'll be talking about his life and how he's become a medium. He's wrote a couple books. He's a really fantastic guy. So I will see you then. Please go with love, luck, light, and don't forget to live. Bye, everybody. Bye.